United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is my honor today to introduce our guest speaker, Kyle Cox. Mr. Cox has dedicated much of his life to service, first as an Army combat engineer, where he played a critical role in supporting and securing military operations in challenging environments. His experience in the Army has given him a deep understanding of teamwork, leadership, and resilience. Currently serving in the Army Reserves, Mr. Cox continues to contribute to our nation's defense while balancing his civilian career. In addition to his military service, Mr. Cox is an EMT crew chief for Stoddard County, where he leads a team of emergency medical responders and provides vital care to those in need. His unique combination of military expertise and medical leadership exemplifies his commitment to both his country and his community. Today, he will share his insights from his experiences and the lessons he's learned along the way. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Kyle Cox.
Good morning, distinguished guests, my fellow veterans. Let's go with this. Welcome to the 2024 Veterans Day Assembly. As I look around the room, I see many familiar faces. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Kyle Cox. I'm a 2007 graduate from Dexter High School. In all honesty, I was a little reluctant when Ms. Hayes asked me to give this year's Veterans Day speech, just knowing all these incredible veterans who undoubtedly would have done a much better job than I. But just know I can never put into words my gratitude and appreciation for each and every one of you. I wish we could spend all day listening to the experiences that they could share. But a big question that I always get asked is why I joined. It always brings me back to 6th grade, sitting in one of the middle school classrooms at Dexter when we got the news of the September 11th, 2001 tragedy. I felt a sense of urgency to serve in any way that I possibly could. Once joining, I completed my one-station unit training, my basic and AIT at Fort Leonard Wood, to become a combat engineer in the United States Army. I didn't realize at the time, but this was the beginning of one of the most rewarding and challenging chapters of my life. The first unit I was assigned to was a 383rd Combat Engineer Unit in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I have one combat deployment in support of Operation Enduring Freedom to RC West Afghanistan, where we were stationed at Shimdan Air Base, which is an Afghan National Air Base in the Herat province. That is where I learned that being a combat engineer is really just a big treasure hunt that you hope the treasure doesn't find you first. So between all of the trainings and deployments, it fostered a sense of brotherhood and lifelong values that I still depend on today. As I thought about what I wanted you to take away from today, it was simply just to think of veteran. That little gesture means more to veterans than you can ever imagine. No matter today, tomorrow, or any other day for that matter, it's guaranteed to put a smile on one of our faces. In the Webster's Dictionary, a veteran is defined as a former member of the armed forces, but to me, it has much deeper meaning. It's about remembering the sacrifice, the blood, the sweat, and the tears that those veterans and their loved ones had to endure. It's about having the brotherhood and sisterhood like no other. It's about not always knowing what the veteran sitting in the same row as you has been through, but remembering exactly how each one of us felt on that first long bus ride in, not knowing what to expect. It's about the men and women having the courage to serve and fight in the country, for the country, to make a better tomorrow. It's being taught how to live days on end, relying only on your surroundings and your instincts to survive. It's about, can you perform in sequence and identify Mount Ford within 8 minutes? It's about not knowing when something, it's about knowing when something's tough, that we're going to do whatever it takes to get it done. It's about remembering and honoring the men who stood to my left and to my right whenever we were downrange and the guys that didn't make it home. It's about the generations of veterans that served before me that paved the way and set the standard. It's about the traditions and the certain sense of pride that each of us has earned. That is what November 11th means to me. The Department of Veteran Affairs states that there is 119,550 veterans still living from World War II, 1,165,000 from the Korean War. Of the 2,709,918 service members, only 850,000 veterans are left from the Vietnam War. Desert Shield, Desert Storm, 1,680,000. The global war on terrorism from 2001 to 2021, between 1.3 to 3 million are still with us today. Currently, we have 335 million Americans above the age of 18, and only 1.3 are serving in the armed forces. That's only 0.04%. So in closing, I'd like to leave you with a challenge. First, students and teachers, I'd like to challenge you, no matter what your present or future holds, to always take time to show gratitude and appreciation to those who have given so much for freedom. Although we have many freedoms living in this wonderful country, it always comes at a cost. To the veterans, to include myself, I want to challenge us to step out of our comfort zones and reach out to other veterans to get to know each other on a more personal level. To swallow our pride and take advantage of the services that we have in place. They're there for a reason. My buddies and I get together for a Silkies hike every year to help raise money for various charities within the organizations. And we would love for each and every veteran to join in, no matter your age or health status. Thank you, Marcel. Happy Veterans Day. God bless.
We would now like to introduce a leader in our community who embodies the values of service, sacrifice, and patriotism, the commander of our local VFW post, Mr. Dwayne Martin. Commander Martin has served our veterans with dedication and is a tireless advocate for programs that will help instill the spirit of patriotism in our youth. Under his leadership, our post has supported countless initiatives that honor our nation's heroes and educate further generations about the importance of freedom and democracy. We are now going to recognize the exceptional young people who participated in the VFW's Patriots Pin and Voice of Democracy contest. These programs provide students with a platform to express their thoughts on what it means to be an American and the importance of honoring our veterans. The winners we recognize today have demonstrated remarkable insight, eloquence, and dedication in their entries. Also being recognized is our VFW Teachers of the Year. Please join me in welcoming VFW Post Commander Dwayne Martin. and winners. In third place, we have Annabelle Allen. In second place, we have Aaliyah Whitted. In first place, we have Layla Stewart. And for our Voice of Democracy, in third place, we have Kirsten DeLong. In second place, we have Jude Lawrence. And in first place, we have Layla Hale. And now for our Teachers of the Year. For elementary, the VFW teacher is Ms. Mandy McMillan. For junior high, we have Ms. Kelly Smothers. And then lastly, for high school, we have Mr. Hunter Blaker. Congratulations again to all of our honorees. I now have the honor to introducing a reading that reflects on the sacrifices and resilience of all of our veterans. Senior Perry Isaac will be reading The Waterfalls, written by James Graham. This work beautifully captures the essence of bravery and emotional journeys of those who have been served. Please join me in welcoming Perry Isaac to the podium.
As war goes on, many of us have been touched, and many of you will be touched more than you know. When they come home, for no matter how strong the man is, he will drop to his knees and cry. He will ask God just to take him, but God won't. For war is minutes, hours, days, even weeks of boredom. Then all war breaks loose. When it's over, shakily, you check yourself and think, well, I am still here, so I lived through this one. Then you look around to see if your buds made it. If all went well, all you've got to do is clean up and rebuild. If not, you take stock in what you and our team has lost. You are strong. You never show what's inside, but some do. Maybe they're the ones who got it right. You lock it away behind the walls you put up. You look at what you did to others. This is locked behind those walls by all. As time passes and life goes on, the walls come down one by one. Then one day, when you are standing there seeing your friend for the last time, the flag, Our flag is folded. The taps are played, the rifles are 21 times, the last falls. Oh, how they fall, not just for him, but all that have fallen. Not just your own losses, but for all the ones that fell back then. The dreams, the TV show, a hurt child, Veterans Day. Here comes taps. It's everywhere you go. You cannot get away from them. From this day forward, your eyes are never dry when taps are played. The eyes never stop letting the water fall. You pull it together, you tell yourself, drive on, soldiers, drive on. A smell, a sound, and it hits like no man could hit you. You would love for it to have been a man, but it's not, for it never stops. You quietly turn and walk away. No one must see. The grandkids look at you funny. Your wife takes them for ice cream, and she knows. You hear them ask, "What's the matter with Grandpa?" And the water falls. Even more. You may pray no one should ever have to fight and see or smell war again. Yet, you, most of all, know it will come again and that it must. You pray, as time moves on, it gets harder and harder. God forbid you were the medic on the line, for you have not just seen yours, but theirs, the kids, the women, you have seen them all. God, those kids, for they are forever burned into your mind. Then one day, you see a child crying in the store. You walk up and say a kind word or two to stop those cries. Not just this, but all the cries of children. Mom and Dad look at you like you're nuts. Then as the child smiles, they soften and say, "Thank you." But the act of kindness was not for them, not the child, it was for you. For if they knew the man you were and bore, they would have grabbed their child and run from you. You are what they fear, not for who you are, but for what you have done. There is no sadder sight than an old vet all alone. You will never know how much we love our country, even with these deep, deep wounds. And so, the water falls. With all of this said, the next time you see that vet or VA hospital, stop, go in, and see them. Say thank you. These are the forgotten ones. They gave it all for you, even when they did not know you, to even before you were born. Not all wounds can be seen, and so the water falls. Written by Sergeant James P. Graham, U.S. Army Medic for life.
We're here today to honor two of our own, Mr. Ron Clinton and Mr. Rick McLean. They are more than just our neighbors, friends, or family members. They are our heroes who have served our country with distinction. Mr. Clinton and Mr. McLean, your commitment to protecting our freedoms has not gone unnoticed. Your courage in the face of danger, your resilience in tough times, and your unwavering patriotism inspires us all. You've shown us what it truly means to put others before yourself. This quilt of valor represents our community's collective gratitude. It has been lovingly crafted by local workers who wanted to show their appreciation for your service. Each piece of fabric, every stitch, carries our thanks. As we present you with this quilt, we want you to know that it's more than just a blanket. It's a warm embrace from us all. It's our way of saying thank you for the nights you spent away from home, for the hardships you've endured, and for the sacrifices you made. May this quilt bring you comfort on cold nights and serve as a constant reminder that your service and sacrifice will always be remembered and honored. We're proud to call you one of our own, Mr. Clinton and Mr. McLean. Thank you for your service to our nation.
we gather here to reflect on the sacrifices and stories that have shaped our history, we are privileged to share with you a special message, a letter written by a veteran whose experiences have had a lasting impact on our community. This letter comes from Mr. Bruce Campbell. As a veteran, his perspective is not only important, but it's essential in understanding the realities of what it means to serve. Today we have a privilege of hearing this letter, read aloud by someone who is well-versed in the importance of remembering and honoring these stories, Mr. Will Davis. Join me in welcoming Mr. Bruce Campbell and Mr. Will Davis.
Give me just a second. Vernon George Huff, November 26, 1921 to June of 04, June 4th, 1982. Vernon George Huff, Sergeant in the U.S. Army in World War II. He served 1941 to 1945. He'd seen months of relentless battle on the Bataan Peninsula in the Philippines. He survived the Bataan Death March and spent over 3 years in a Japanese prisoner of war camp. Bear with me as I describe how an 8-year-old at the time had seen Mr. Huff. I remember walking down the sidewalk in Puxico with Dad. A man was staggering around as he was walking in front of us. I asked Dad, "Is that man drunk?" He said, "Probably. That's Vernon Huff. He was in the Bataan March. He has been like that ever since he came back from the war." I remember Dad describing the Death March as really bad. But for years, Vernon was just a drunk to me. After spending my time in the service in Vietnam, seeing some of what the soldiers go through and experience gave me a whole new perspective. Since then, I have read about and seen documentary on the Bataan Death March. The Bataan Death March was a 65-mile march in 6 days in tropical heat for men that had been in battle for months and ran out of food, supplies, ammunition, and other necessities. They had been outnumbered and cut off from help and then captured. They received 1 meal of rice the entire 6 days of the march. Many were already sick or wounded before the march. Many of the prisoners dropped out and couldn't go any further. They were either shot, bayoneted, or beaten to death by the rifle butts. Many prisoners carried their buddies as far as they could. Many did not make it. Those that did make the trip were put in Japanese POW camps, described as horrific conditions. For over 3 years, they were tortured, beaten, starved. By war's end, a third had died in those camps. After those still living were freed by American forces in 1945, many more died from malaria, other tropical diseases, complications from malnutrition, and torture. When they come home, they brought constant reminders through physical and mental scars of what they had experienced. Many dealt with these atrocities to their grave. I am now ashamed of how I thought of Mr. Huff. This man, knowing just some of what he went through, doing his part, defending the United States of America. I think we can maybe see why this man lived his life after the war the only way he knew how to cope with
what he had seen and endured. This man, Mr. Huff, and others of the greatest generation changed the direction of the world at that time. Mr. Huff, who I once didn't give a second thought, now has my highest respect and admiration. I am proud to speak of Vernon George Huff as a fellow Huxico native and proud to have known him. I salute you, Mr. Huff. May God have mercy on your soul. Let's not forget people like Mr. Huff and the others that answered the call of duty. They all have their own story. Let's never forget Bruce W. Campbell, U.S. Navy Seabees.
Stewart, a 7th grade student, has earned the distinction of being this year's winner of the Patriots and Essay Contest. Layla's exceptional writing skills, insightful perspective, and dedication to honoring the principles that make our nation strong have earned her this well-deserved recognition. Please join me in welcoming Layla to the podium to share her winning essay. William Faulkner once said, "Never be afraid to raise your voice for honesty, truth, and compassion against injustice, lying, and greed. If people all over the world would do this, it would change the earth." Now, when I think about that quote, I cannot help but wonder, how can I, a 12-year-old middle school student, raise my voice and be heard? One of the things that makes America so special is the powerful right to freedom of speech. Something I have learned being an American is that using your voice is not just what you put into the world, but the courage you use to get it there. You have to have courage to speak up in today's busy world. With so many things going on at once, it can make you feel small or not important. But when I'm not even old enough to vote yet, I have to get creative on ways to get my voice heard. Whether it's attending a campaign event with a family member, or take public speaking for an example, the possibilities for getting my voice heard are endless. One thing I like to do is talk to veterans. The simplest thing can go such a long way. Even just a short thank you to a veteran for their service can show my gratitude, because these men and women put their lives down for the safety and freedom of America. So showing my gratitude will always be a top priority. I am currently not old enough to vote yet, but that does not mean I can't encourage others to vote, such as older siblings, parents, grandparents, or even whole communities. As I mentioned earlier, the possibilities for getting my voice heard are endless. But when something is endless, it has to start somewhere, and that start is me.
Layla Hale is a student who won recognition for a powerful essay in the Voice of Democracy competition sponsored by the VFW. This competition invites students to express their thoughts on democracy, citizenship, and the rights and responsibilities that come with living in a democratic society. Layla's essay stood out for its insightful reflections on the importance of democratic values, her personal connection to the concept of freedom, and her deep respect for the sacrifices made by service members to uphold those ideals. Please join me in welcoming Layla to the stage, podium, to share her winning essay.
Envision 7 men, frock coats enveloping their arms, with powdered wigs atop their frail heads. Each man known for their high intellect and wide range of American ideals. All of them conjointly seated in a room, thoroughly discussing the topic of future America. These men you have pictured are none other than our forefathers themselves. Our forefathers from the 18th century envisioned America to be one of equality, liberty, and independence. Each man man believed every individual had unalienable rights, and each person held fondly of their natural rights: life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. One of these forefathers, John Adams, once made a statement in which he said a government should be of laws, not of men. One might pose the question as to what this statement means. John Adams, a man of high intelligence, spoke of a just and fair society. He, in concurrence with the other forefathers, believed that a government built on laws would abolish rational use of power, which in turn prevents any group or individual from gaining too much control. Our forefathers believed that a government should never come close to tyrannical rule. These founders of the Constitution strive for a strong federal government, which is the reason they applied Baron de Montesquieu's idea of the separation of powers in the United States. Each founding father had his own beliefs and ideals about how America should be in the future. One of these men, known as the father of his country, George Washington, was and is to this day a well-known patriotic figure of American history. George Washington was a leader that held virtue and patriotism close to his heart. Washington's ideals on the importance of national unity and his deep-rooted belief that there shall be no political divisions display his everlasting dedication to his country. Washington was also a leader of the victorious Continental Army, which further validates his patriotism and commitment to the American nation. Much like our country's veterans, our forefathers outwardly sought to make America one of peace and freedom. Many of them fought in crucial wars and battles, much like our veterans today. They built a foundation for current America, doing so through patriotism and intellect. These 7 patriotic men that fought and led soldiers in war later chose to enter politics in order to help construct a much stronger federal government to aid in the protection of our American nation. Our founding fathers would be surprised at how far our once jeopardized America has evolved since the day the Constitution was ratified on September 17, 1787. Benjamin Franklin, an inventive man, would be shocked to see modern-day technological advancements. He would be intrigued and astounded to see things such as smartphones, space travel, and even the worldwide internet. The technology we Americans classify as normal today would be considered unthinkable to our forefathers. Centuries before us, sending a message as quickly as a minute would have been seen as impossible to achieve, yet this is an everyday thing people today take part in. By doing things such as using the internet, attending school, opening your own business, and even speaking outwardly an opinion of yours, we are shown how our forefathers' value of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is applied. The values of inalienable rights are held strong in the American Constitution, thus proving the main structure our country's nation was built upon. America will never be accurately aligned with how our forefathers imagined it to be. The reason for this being the immense amount of centuries separating today with the long before years of our founders, therefore making it seem unattainable for them to know exactly what future America would be. Despite this, our forefathers' values regarding the people's natural rights have stayed well secured in current-day America. All the people of the American society are given the ability to vote freely and are promised the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness due to the sacrifices of brave, patriotic soldiers fighting for what our forefathers so immensely valued. Veterans' patriotic dedication to our country is what makes our forefathers' vision and values of America possible. When our founding fathers wrote of equality in the Constitution, our veterans obliged, for they held a passion so intense in their hearts to achieve this for our future nation. As the flag we so proudly honor each and every day sways its pronounced identity upon our schools and in our streets, we are shown just how hard our veterans of America worked for it to be there. Without the protection of the soldiers we honor today, America would never be able to reach the ambitions our forefathers once had. Freedom would be foreign if veterans strayed themselves from war. Our country's independence would have never been achieved if American soldiers fought without bravery and patriotism. Bravery is not doing something because of the absence of fear, but rather doing it in spite of fear. This is the precise description of what our veterans are: brave. Each man and woman we honor, we do so because they are the reason our forefathers' vision is achievable. They fight to secure our founders' values, to protect our inalienable rights, and are the sole reason liberty is obtained within the people. Our veterans' brave souls and patriotic hearts are the reason for our freedom. So when you honor these men and women, remember all the accomplishments they have achieved for our nation. It is my pleasure to introduce someone who has been steadfast supporter of our community and advocate for honoring the service of our veterans, Ms. Rachel McGill. Ms. McGill has always been passionate about fostering creativity in young minds while also ensuring we never forget the sacrifices made by those who have served our country. Today, she will be helping us recognize the winners of our Veterans Day Coloring Contest, a special way for our young artists to express their gratitude and appreciation for the brave men and women who have protected our freedoms. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Rachel McGill to the podium. As Ms. McGill announces the winners, please line up by Ms. Porter over here and Mr. Blake. Once the winners receive their prize, please go to Mr. Perry to have your pictures taken.
All right, we'll start with kindergarten. My directions may be a little different. You need to come over here to get your prize, and then you can come over here to get your picture. Third place in kindergarten is Cooper McClure. Second place is Gemma Wood. And first place is Blake Putman. I did something different this year and I got their papers. Sorry, my bad. Okay, first grade, third place is Loretta Lowry. Second place is Oliver Delahan. And first place is Gray Rich. Okay, second grade. Second grade, third place is Ellie Payne. Second place is Braylon Allison. And first place is Charlie Thompson. Charlie not here. All right, third grade. Third place is Josie Armstrong. Second place is Gibson Beasley. And first place is Eli Tilley. Fourth grade, third place is Kinley Moore. Second place is Jay Duke. And first place is Maddox Pate. In fifth grade, third place is Lainey Allen. Second place is Jacob Lewis. And first place is Sadie Lovett. While they're taking that picture, this was not on your program, but the auxiliary also did something different this year for junior high and high school. We sponsored in the art classes, if you take art, where you would use Buddy Poppies, the red flower that you receive in remembrance of veterans, to make a Christmas ornament. And so we have some winners to announce for that. So if we call your name, come up here, we'll give you your prize and your ornament back. So in 6th through 8th grade category, the junior high category, third place was Asia Whitaker. Second place was Gavin Hale. And first place was Andrea Clark. Okay, in the 9th and 10th grade category, we have Aubrey Hahn won third place with her ornament. Jonathan Watkins won second place. And Madison Camden won first place. Before I announce the 11th and 12th grade ones, while they're taking the picture, these ornaments are going to be used to put in care packages to take to veterans that are maybe in a veterans home or hospital. So all of your artistic work you made, it was very hard to judge because there was some awesome work done. I think the ladies would agree that helped judge. In our 11th and 12th grade category, third place was Hannah Wilson. Second place was Reagan Hodges. And first place was Briley Zoll. So thank you to all of the kids who participated in these contests.
At this time, we ask you to stand for the playing of America the Beautiful.
this time, I would like all the veterans in attendance to please line up to my right and bring the cards that you filled out when you got here. This time of recognition is important, not only to express our gratitude, but also to reflect on the sacrifices made by veterans, their families, and our community. With deep respect for their service, Mr. Will Davis will lead us in this time of remembrance and reflection.
If I could have your attention. This is one of the times. This is a great honor to be able to stand up here, be able to shake the hands of every one of the veterans that have made it out today. And it's a great honor. It would be nice if you would honor them with your presence and attention. It'd be great. Right off the bat, I have Orville Lee Miller, Army and Presidential Honor Guard, 1948, 1952, World War II. Wayne R. Martin, U.S. Army, March 1966, October 1987. Brad Isaac, Army National Guard, 2000 to 2008, in Iraqi freedom. Ron Clinton, Army, 1969, 1971, 101st Airborne Division. Mr. Kyle Cox, Army, 2010, 2022, Operation Enduring Freedom. Keith King, Navy, 1970, 1972. Rick McLean, Army, 1970, 1971, Vietnam. Bruce Campbell, U.S. Navy Seabees, 1968, 1971, Vietnam. Grandkids, Tracy, Maddie, Riley Campbell, Braylon, Barrett Fox, all here present. William Cochran, Army, Republic of Vietnam, in 6, 70, and 1284 to 1282, December of 84. William Martin, U.S. Navy Corpsman, August 1987 to July 1995, Desert Storm. Rudy Williams, Navy, Vietnam era, 1969 to 1973. Ashley Williams is his daughter-in-law and art teacher. Wally Littrell, Air Force, retired Chief Master Sergeant, 1981, 2005, Desert Storm. Michael Gauthier, U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Army, 1976, 1997. Lonnie Thurston, Army, 1969 to 1971, Vietnam, 7th, 1st Air Cadet. Vincent Gray, Army, Missouri National Guard, 1982 to 1989. Ray Playford, U.S. Army, January 1961, 1963. David Hayes, Army, 1973, 1991, Vietnam era, and Desert Storm. Doug Seiler, Army, 137th Airborne Brigade, Navy Seabees, retired as Chief Petty Officer, 1968, 1970, 1982 to 2003, Vietnam. Charles Henston, Army, Vietnam, 1968 to 1970. His daughter is Tracy, and grandson is Logan Robinson. Jay Jackson, Army, September 1952 to 1954, Korea. Franklin Welton, Missouri Army National Guard, 1969 to 2007. James Graham, Army, March 83 to April of 2003. James Graham is also the author of the waterfalls that you heard read earlier. Tammy Osborne, Army, 1998 to 2005, Operation Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom. Tom Boswell, Army, 1968 to 1969, Vietnam. Larry Chrysler, Army, 1965 to 1967. John Powers, Army, Iraq War. John Snyder, Army, February of 2004 to January 2018, Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. Terry Page, U.S. Army, 1972 1974, Vietnam. Jim Wagner, Army, 1969 1970. Marvin S. Jones, Army, 1969 1970, Vietnam. Deborah Ash, Air Force, 1974 to 1982, Vietnam. Glenn Green, Army, 1970 to 1971. Kelly Smothers is his daughter, and Christian and Megan are your grand. Stan Logsden, U.S. Air Force, 1967 to 1974, Vietnam. Billy Humphrey, U.S. Army, National Guard, December 2008, December 2016. Billy Weston, Army, 1999 to 2019, Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. Kimberly Hugengarner Wilkerson, Army National Guard, 2003 to 2011. Echo Rudd, Army, 2008 to 2011, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Victor Green, Air Force, January 1958 to July 1962. David Smith, Navy, April of 1985 to April of 1990. Rick Sharon, U.S. Army, 172nd Airborne, 77 to 84, 85, and retired in 92. Danielle Smith, Air Force, 2007 to present. Ira Brady Tucker, U.S. Army, 1954 to 1956. Was a Plexico 5th grade teacher, 1968 to 1990. Now, as much as I am honored and grateful to be able to shake the hands of all the vets that came through, we need to take time to remember the veterans that have fallen in the past year. If you are a family member of one of these veterans, please come forward as their name is called. David Hayden. Gary Kitchens. Donald McGill. Larry McClure. George Sifford. Wish I could express the gratitude and the heartfelt honor to be able to be in the presence of our veterans. And as we get ready, we're not done. As we get ready to depart, I just want to remind you. Every one of us get to get up every single day, and enjoy everything from the smallest freedom of just getting to go outside, not have to worry about things, or even going to a show, or going to school, or actually just being a part of anything else that we may take for granted every single day. Those freedoms are what these men and women fought for. The ones before, the ones that have fallen, the ones that are after. And we get to enjoy this freedom every single day. We don't enjoy our freedoms one day out of the year. So can we all agree together that this, I love the fact that our school still does this and represents and honors our veterans. But can we agree to get up every day? And every time that we get it, every day. I know if I said it longer, I'd get it done. But if we get up every day and understand that our freedom isn't just one day a year, and so therefore the honor and the respect that we ought to give these men and women is not just on one day of year, but every time we meet them. Every time we meet them, every time we get a chance to say thank you, we ought to reach out our hand and we ought to say thank you. Thank you that I'm free to be able to walk into this place and meet you today. I'm free to be able to be a part of what this world has to offer right now. Only because it was fought for. It was fought for. And so to that, just as Mr. Campbell said, let us never forget. It's not one day that I get to enjoy my freedom. I get to enjoy my freedom every day. And so therefore, every day I get the chance, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your service.
As we conclude our Veterans Day Assembly, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who participated, especially those veterans who were able to attend today. Would everyone who can, please stand as we pay our final tribute to the flag of the Habs by Joshua Samuels. Thank you for your attention and support in recognizing the sacrifice of our brave servicemen and women. Thank you to everyone that came, and please support your veterans every single day. This will conclude our ceremony.